Alright guys, I am back. You might have seen the update already. Now I'm back to focus on a particular topic. So I talked about movies and stuff and the other thing. This is going to be kind of going backwards a little bit on the reflections because I realized as I was getting towards, at the college when I stopped at 2000 before I was going to go to Disney World for the summer. And I realized that, well, I wasn't doing any theater down there, so I was like, okay, well, how can I, but there are things going on there that tie into stuff from the past, so I think I decided, let's take the reflections and reflect back. See what I did there? So I'm going to go back and tie in kind of like how my love life, or lack thereof, was before I met my beautiful, talented wife, Anna, who I promise you'll see on this channel again at some point. It won't just be me with my gigantic hands reaching through the camera at you. At some point, I will get it. Because she works on Saturdays now and Fridays, so she just comes home. She's exhausted sometimes, so she's not really in the mood to get in front of a camera. It's like, but she will be for sketches tomorrow. Anyway, back to me. So yes, I thought I would go through that because I like to build up to how me and Anna met and stuff like that and fell in love and all that good stuff. But it was a long journey before we got to that, so we have to go back and I'm going to reflect on things and the mistakes that I made trying to woo women. So to go back, I have to go back a little further, just a little before high school, just to explain my dating history or interest and all that stuff. So one of those things is like I always knew I liked women. That was, everybody has that passing thought of like, oh my, do I like, either or do I like men or women, but I've always felt like even at a reasonably young age, I'm just like, yep, I definitely like girls. So that's just being honest. But yeah, anyway, I can just reflect through, like, I can remember in nursery school, this is how far my memory goes back. There was a girl named Lisa who I liked. It was, it was like 4 or 5, whatever it was, nursery school. Robin Hood was the nursery school. It was pretty cool. That's where I met one of my best friends, Matthew Shooter, who I lost touch with after 3rd grade when he moved. But and I've tried finding him on Facebook, but he's not on there. So hope he's doing well. If you're Matthew Shooter out there, get in touch with me. I'm Adam Haig. You remember me? We were friends. Anyway, back to the point. I'll reshoot here real quick. Yeah, so I remember me and him like tug-of-warring with their arms. Totally not a misogynistic thing to do at all. I was a kid, what can I say? I didn't know any better. And then let's see, through kindergarten, 1st grade, I can talk about that stuff later, but like I can reflect on stories I remember from that, but I don't remember a ton of stuff from that, so I'm trying to remember all this stuff. But I liked a girl named Stacy Waters. She's a cute little blonde girl. I liked her for kindergarten, 1st grade. And then 2nd grade, there was this girl named Stacy Kurtz. I liked her for a couple of years, 2nd, 3rd grade. And then 4th grade, there was this other girl. I think her name was Jessica, I think, if I recall. And then she moved away. And then I sort of, like, 5th and 6th grade, I sort of had a thing for this girl named Jennifer McQuarrie. Now, granted, I was really shy, and still am to a point. You'd never know it on this camera. Excuse me. Oh. This is Adam coughing. This is very, very exciting. Disregard that closet behind you. There's totally not a mess there at all. I'm going to clean soon. Anyway, but yeah, so that was basically elementary school. Now, I never actually asked any of these girls out or anything like that because I was 6th grade. Where are you going to go anyway? Oh, we're going to the mall. All right. But like, I remember like, none of them were like, into me. Which is fine, whatever. This kid, who cares? But I do remember like, it was like, I remember like my first actual relationship before Anna was with a girl named Tabitha Lever. Now, interesting story how this came about, because Tabitha was the sister of Dan Lever, who was dating my sister. And one time, me and my brother went over there to hang out with my sister and Dan, and we met Tabitha and Dana, who were his sisters, and Dan's sisters. And, we hung out with them. They seemed cool enough and all that. And then I remember that Tabitha and Dana were like, they were young, but like they were both dating this guy named Bill or something like that. I never met the guy, so I don't really know. And then I just remember she called me up and was just like, "I'm gonna date you now. We're dating." I'm like, "Okay, what? How did this come about?" So it was like, or at first it was like, "I'm gonna make that Bill jealous" or something. And it's like, "Oh, but you're not dating him anymore, so it doesn't matter." But and then my brother ended up dating Dana. And then my sisters, it was like all three of us were dating. It was like the Higgs and Levers are dating. But I mean, it was 7th grade dating, so it wasn't, And I was super shy. I was just like, okay, I guess I got a girlfriend now. Okay, cool. And it was really fun that summer because they came over to my Aunt Jean's swimming pool and stuff, and we hung out a lot. And then we got to the school year, and then unfortunately, didn't really see her that much. I was in 6th grade and stuff like that. 6th to 7th grade, we went out. And then, unfortunately, Dan and Renee broke up. Things happen. And so we didn't see them very much after that. So it was kind of hard for us to maintain a relationship. But I remember, she found out that I liked that Jennifer McCreary. And I'm like, I wouldn't cheat on her. It was just like, I'm attracted to her. That's it, But, trying to explain things in 6th grade. It's just what it is. But yeah, Tabitha was great. I mean, not to go into details, she gave me a kiss on the cheek once. That's about as far as things went, and that's totally fine. We were, for me, it's like I was shy as it was, so it's like 6th, 7th grade, it's fine. But I did have a good time with her, and yeah, when I got to 7th grade, I remember she. It was funny though because just a quick thing with Dan. I just remember this one thing where Renee and Dan were not getting along because they had broken up, obviously, and he was like, he said something like, I still like Adam and Jeremy. There's just one little person that I don't... Because he actually got us back into wrestling, which, for a while my mom was like, damn it. Why'd you get back into wrestling? Now we're going to buy these damn pay-per-views. It was actually SummerSlam 90 that was the first one we watched again. Because I had seen, way back when, Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper and stuff, because a lot of that was on MTV. But, I'll talk about wrestling another time, but it was just that's how we got us into wrestling. Yeah. Anyway... back to me, but 7th grade, she actually told Renee that she was breaking up to focus on her homework. Her homework's name was apparently Charles. So she dated someone else. I didn't hold it against her. She was a nice girl. I have nothing. We're still friends on Facebook and stuff, which is cool. I said she's a nice girl. I have no ill will towards her or nothing like that. It was like, okay, cool. I remember at the time I was like, I'm a free man. I can, I didn't have to feel guilty about being attracted to other women. So it was like, not that I actually did anything or knew what the hell I would do with it, but it was like, I'm a free man. But I appreciate the time that I did spend with her then, and Tabitha was great for first girlfriend and stuff like that. And I hope that she's doing well. So shout out to her, and the Lever family was very nice people. It was definitely good times. Good times. So anyway, after that, then of course, there's 7th and 8th grade. I really hated middle school. The only good thing to come out of middle school, I've mentioned the drama thing, is that I took that drama class. But I didn't do well grade-wise compared to elementary school where I was pretty good. I had trouble with math and trouble with other things, and it's just and I didn't have as many friends as I did in elementary school, and most of my friends in elementary school were there, but they were meeting other new people because there's all these new people in this middle school, and it was just, so other than finding the drama thing and giving up on playing basketball after trying out for 4 years, I was like, I can't fucking play. Excuse my language. Well, I didn't say I can't fucking play in 8th grade, but regardless, yeah, plus I have this scar here. I had a cyst removed when I was in 8th grade. So let me tell you, having a big old neck brace around your thing with seeping stuff in there, I don't know how I was just batting the women away. Woo! So anyway, that's actually the only, other than some oral surgery that I've had with teeth and stuff, that's the only actual surgery I've, knock on wood, have ever had, luckily. So that's cool. Anyway, so yeah, I never really asked anybody out in seventh and eighth grade. There were girls I liked. It was more like passing. It was no one like I was like, this is the girl. Like I still liked Jennifer from Mercury a little bit, but it was never gonna be anything I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was figuring out I was a growing boy, you know. It wasn't really till high school that I was like, okay, I can focus on this chapter, this, you know, the saga is, I will say. But so anyway, I got to high school. Of course, I was in the drama club, I mentioned. Um, Now, the first girl I really liked in high school, her name was Marcia Furry. I actually saw her at the reunion, at the 10-year reunion. You know, she was nice to me and all that, so it's all good. But I sat behind her in math class, and she was she's a good-looking gal, brunette. She was on the pom poms, so already totally out of my league. Like it was like the junior varsity cheerleaders or something. I don't know. I guess they called them pom poms. I don't know. That's what Riley High School was like. But and I remember it was funny because I told this in a creative writing story once, and it was just like she had apparently seen me in the rehearsal for Murder, and said something in class, of just like, "Oh, you were good in that play." And I remember the creative writing class, and that was it. That's all it took. Her comment about me being good in a play. I was hooked on her after that. And well, I remember though I made the stupid mistake of, let me tell you, in high school, elementary school, whatever, never tell your friends if you like someone because they will blab it right away. And I remember this. I had this crush on a fourth grade teacher. Don't worry, didn't go that far. It wasn't a Mary Kay Letourneau thing. I remember I liked her because she kind of looked like Debbie Gibson a little bit. Like not totally, but I had a big crush on Debbie Gibson at the time. And so it's like she kind of. I remember my friend went up and told her, she's like, my, just like that. Like I said, it wasn't beyond that. It wasn't anything gross or anything like that. It wasn't a South Park. Nice, But like, yeah, but I said, so I told my friends and they told her, and apparently I saw her literally go. So I'm like, yes, this is off to a great and fabulous start. Now you'd think after that, I would have been like, okay, this is clear. We're taking the hint. This girl thinks I'm unattractive. Apparently, dodge bullet, no big deal. Now the out of now would know that. Of course, I'm married now, so it doesn't matter. But would know like, okay, this is not going to happen. But that time, though, I was very much Mr. Romantic. You grow up watching Disney films and things like that. Like, oh, the prince will come to save the day, and I'll be romantic and buy them things. So the rest of that year, I never actually asked her out in person. What happened was my friend Nathan Lavelle, who I had known since nursery school as well, was friends with her and all that. And when I was doing Making It, he was going to try to, try to set things up, get to know each other a little bit. But I chickened out, I hit backstage. Oh, got you here. I'm shy. I don't know what to do. And so anyway, like the next year, I had this really stupid idea that I would send her flowers, and like I had my mom drive me to the florist and stuff like that. Spent like $50 on a flower arrangement and a note, which was just kind of like, I had this bad habit, and it was mainly, and really, amazingly, my self-confidence in myself was not high. When you get called a dork and a nerd all the time in middle school, it kind of tells you, it is what it is. Now I don't really care. I know I'm a dork and a nerd and whatever. Who cares? It is what it is. I'll do what I want. Can't stop me. Anyway, but like, yeah. So I mean, writing it would always be like these letters. It was just like, well, I know I'm not the best looking guy, but it's just, I can't believe she didn't just like run to me right then and there. But anyway, yeah, that had happened sophomore year. And like I said, I hadn't seen her like barely at all. I had one class with this girl, and she complimented me in a play, and that was all it took. Like, oh, that girl talked to me and was nice to me. She must want to date me. The old stupid male thing of thinking that a woman is interested in you just because she's nice to you and talks to you. If only I had learned that lesson right then and there. But I would make more mistakes. So anyway, I also met what would later be one of my best friends in the whole world, Christy Miller. I had met her in drama class the freshman year. She wasn't in the rehearsal for Murder, because I think she was playing softball or something then. But then like she's actually subscribed to this channel, so I know she's watching these videos. So I remember like it was one of those things where like I had this sort of thing where I'd be like, well, I definitely like Marsha, but like if that doesn't work out, I have a backup plan. Like there was always some girl that like, here's a backup plan in case this one goes down in flames. And amazingly, now to Marsha's credit, she did write me a letter back and said it was very sweet and all that, but that she had her eye on somebody else. And you know how it goes. It's the old love stinks thing. It's like, he likes her, she likes him, he likes somebody else. You just can't win. So yeah, but so I have no ill will towards her. Like I said, I saw her at the reunion. Very nice person. Like I said, she barely knew me, so it wasn't like this stranger from afar. So anyway, but then after that I kind of I was like, okay, I'm gonna focus on Christy now. And I liked her. She was very fun and spunky and outgoing. And like I said, I had made, as I said in the high school video, I had gone to a party, and that's why I got the Gump nickname and all that. And that was kind of like not to say coming out party, because that's a lot of times that's more connected with like, oh, I'm coming out, but like in terms of my shyness, it helped a little bit. It was a great group of people. We called ourselves the Drama Club Posse. That's what we called ourselves. Jeremy Mongus, Jason Perez, Sarah Messenger. Is like a whole group of great people. Just to name a few. But Christy was in that group, and like they had done a couple sleepovers before, but like she wasn't sure, if I was too weird or something. What? Me too weird? No way. Because I was, shy and quiet. We were friendly, but like, yeah. And what happened was, like I was interested in her, and I think I did in one of those stupid notes again. Because I was too chicken shit to actually say anything desperate. Like, I could talk to her in a group of friends, totally fine. But, like, when it came to, like, just asking her out, it was like, I'll write a note, and it'll be great. It worked out really well with the first one, so I'm going to do that again. Anyway, so I remember I had gotten vice president of the drama club, like, which was super cool. Like, I was like, cool, I'm the vice president of the drama club. And so, like, I was super excited about that, but I also had given the letter, and Christy was just like really quiet and not acknowledging me, and I'm just like, well, this is going well. Now for her take on things, I think it was more just like she saw me as a friend, and you know what, I was in the friend zone, and that's okay. I accept that now, and I'm happy. She's one of my best friends for many, many years. She's one of the few people that definitely always gets together with me when we come to visit home. At some point, hopefully, she'll be able to come out here and visit, but she also, deals with a lot of health issues. She's like allergic to practically everything, so it's like, she's got, but she's doing really well now. But anyway, that was then, this is now. So anyway, but at the same time, for me, it's like, fuck, And then I remember we were rehearsing this play, Personal Effects, which I think I mentioned, and, I still liked her and all that stuff, of course. What I didn't know was that Greg, my friend Greg, also liked her. And they were kind of hanging out a little bit and all that, and I didn't really think much of it, but I was kind of like, And it wasn't until like a little before that first sleepover that Greg came and told me, oh, we're going out and all that. And like, I'm like, oh, well, shit. Because I knew that my friend Nathan Lavelle had liked her too, because he was interested in her back, in October, and I don't think anything really came of it then, but there was interest at least. But so I was like, okay, so I didn't know that Greg liked her, so part of me was kind of like a little bit pissed off at the time, because I'm like, well, he could have at least said something, and he didn't say anything until then, and I just remember like, went to the sleepover. Sleepover was fun. But like there's kind of this awkwardness of like I'm trying to be happy for them, but I'm also like, you bastard! You took my girl, even though she's not my girl. But like yeah, they were hanging out, and seeing them cuddle and stuff over sleepover, and just like, well, this is awkward. There's also a stand-up joke that I've done before that this happened to me all the time, where like I would be like next to someone at a party or a sleepover, and they would choose that time to be like, I think we should make out now. It's like, Glad I can set the mood for you guys. I'm glad that my head is right there next to you while you're doing this. You couldn't go to another room or something. So yes, I've heard many of people making out. It's very, very, very fun to be a part of that. Let me tell you. Anyway, but no problem like that. But like, yeah, so that was awkward then. But like, I was like, okay. But like, there's still a part of me that was like, no, maybe it won't work out. And then it didn't work out. And they broke up. And then like, then I remember I got together and like I had this idea of like, I'm gonna call her and I'm just gonna ask her out on the phone. That's what I'm gonna do. It'll be easier. I'll just ask her on the phone. And then I called her and she was going on vacation with her for their dad. I think they were going to Mexico. It was either Mexico or Hawaii. I think it was Mexico. And I remember like I called her and I was just like, I hung up a few times, you know, the old thing. I'm gonna go, okay, hang up. Especially in the 80s when you had the phone on the wall, because I'm old. So, you know, you pull it off the wall and it's like, you know, okay, I can do it, hang up. And I remember I called her and we were like, oh, we should get together and hang out sometime when you get back from vacation. Like, not like, let's get together and have a date. Let's, you know, like, hey, let's go out and have dinner or something. Or get a group of people like, no, let's just get together. That'll be good. And that's all I said. And they're like, okay, that was definitely not a convincing ask out there. So when she did get back, we got together, and then Nathan let me know that they were dating each other now, which I was less mad about because I was like, Nathan was my friend for a long ass time, and I wasn't mad at Greg anymore. But like, it was just like with Lavelle, I knew his interest in her, so it was like, okay, if we both like her, that's fine, you know. So I would, like, at the very least for me, it's like I told him, I said, you know what, if it's not me, I'm glad it's you. And unfortunately, that didn't last long either. And they broke up too. And so then I had this plan because we were working backstage on Annie, for the not Firefly Festival. Is it the Firefly Festival? Yes, Firefly Festival. It was Firefly Festival. That's what it was. Long time ago, guys. I'm 43 now. Anyway, but yeah, so we were working on that backstage because and Greg was in that show as well and stuff like that. And I remember, like, I had this plan. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna ask her out. You know, I'm just gonna do this. I've been building up to it. She's single right now. I'm gonna ask her out, and this is gonna be great. And it's gonna, you know, or at least maybe it won't be great, but we'll figure it out. So anyway, my plan was to do it at the party. There was gonna be a last night party or something like that. There always was. And I remember, like, we had this big rain out one time, like, huge, like, thunderstorm. The show got rained out, so then everything got bumped up a day. And so I remember the day I was going to ask her out, I couldn't go to the party now because I was going to Great America with my parents. And I remember I was just like, I was grumpy all that day. I had a good time, but like I was grumpy because I'm like, oh, freaking ask her on. I'm here with my parents, my stupid family, you know. No, I love my family, but like, you know, at the time you're in high school and you're, you know, angsty. So it's like, but yeah, I also remember this time like we had a falling out with this friend Sarah Heinzelman, and so we went and like pranked her house or something like that. It was a weird. We did stupid shit like that in high school. We would like, you know, prank each other's house, you know, for the. That was the next year, right? Yeah, that was the next year. But like we would prank each other's, you know, houses. Like, Christy did this thing where like she would like, that's later. I'll get to that later. But like, yeah. So anyway, obviously, suffice to say, I didn't get to ask her out because I had to go on vacation. Yeah. So anyway, I got back and then I got together and then like, we all hung out. It was a good time. And like they were talking to Christy and all that stuff, and then Lavelle calls me up and says, "Yeah, apparently Jeremy Mongus is dating Christy now." I'm like, "What the?" It was just like, "Why?" Like it was just like every time I'm about trying to make a move, I'm like somebody else, and they're like, "Oh, you didn't make a move, man." It's like the James Franco as Harry Osborn. "Oh, you didn't make a move, man." It's like, "You're right, I didn't." But like it turned out that like I think Christy like told me later, she's like, "I don't think we were really dating. It was more just like, you know, he said, you want to hang out?" I'm like, sure, you know, because they'd been childhood friends, you know. So it was a brief thing. And then I remember I got together with them, Jason Perez and all that stuff. And I just remember I was just like laying on the couch or whatever. And then I'm just like suddenly here sucking face. It's just like, glad I can set the mood, guys. Excellent. So yeah. So anyway, the school year came around. I don't really, like I said, I don't want it to be like too, you know, Christy will not be upset because she's. I wrote about this in my senior paper. Here's all the people that Christy dated. So anyway, but I won't go on too much about what today. But like, I won't go into all the details and things like that. I'm not gonna give him a personal life. She's my friend. So, but like, anyway, I got to the fall and like I was like, okay, I'm gonna friggin' do this shit. We're doing up that talent staircase. I'm like, I'm gonna do this fucking shit. I'm gonna fucking ask her out finally. And so I finally got up to the and says, "Oh, you want to go out?" And I'm like, "What would we do?" I'm like, "I don't know." I didn't plan ahead that far. And like, I was like, okay, well, maybe let me think about it. And I'm like, okay, which let me tell you, if someone says maybe, they really mean no, but they're just trying to be nice. So anyway, yeah, as time came on, it was just like, okay, this isn't happening. And so I was like, okay. And I remember Mongus was like, yeah, I get let it go. So it's not. I still liked her, but it was like, okay. And then she ended up dating my friend David Carter, so it was like, okay, that's. I had to accept that, and I was like, okay, we're friends. This is not. I had my chance. She didn't go for it, so it's done. So I let that go, and that's. I think it was important because we became better friends after that. Anyway, I remember we were at the Halloween party at Jason's house, and just munch a little bit here. It was a really fun party. It was a sleepover and all that stuff. But like, choosing all with Carter, I really liked David Carter. Really nice guy, good friend. Still friends on Facebook too. And so I was like, all right, they're cute together. I can, I'll be a good friend. This isn't happening for me. I'm happy it's happening for somebody good. So, let that go. So anyway, Jeremy Mongus, my good friend. Like I said, we're still friends too. I haven't seen him in a long time, but like he recently got married, which is awesome. But like he's just like the party. He's just like, you should go after Charlene. And Charlene was this other girl in the drama club. And I'm just like, and I always thought she was kind of cute, but I was never like. It was nothing I was going to pursue or nothing. And then, like, that idea was planted in my head. So I blame Mongus for this. It's all your fault, Mongus. The whole Charlene fiasco is your fault. Not really, but, I was naive and I didn't know any better. So anyway, I remember, like, I decided, okay, I'm going to pursue Charlene. And so, once again, I, did not seem to get the reaction I was hoping for. But I remember I ended up buying, like, and then my friend Zach Doyle liked Christy too, so he went and bought her this, like, necklace or something like that, which I didn't even spend that much money. But like, because her and Carter had broken up, unfortunately. Which is too bad. And she felt bad about it. Things happen, Life goes on, whatever. This whole video will not be about Christy's love life, I swear. This is my love life, or lack thereof. But anyway, I got Charlene this bear, and then I, wrote another note, and another wonderful note where I was like, no, I'm not as good looking as that guy, but I would treat you right, and like, oh, why do I think this would work? I wish I could, like, one of those things that go back in time and, like, smack yourself around and be like, dude, just like, it ain't happening. Let it go. I've had bad trouble with not letting things go. So this was, what, was it junior year? Yeah, this is junior year this was happening. Because I spent sophomore year kind of, sophomore into junior going after Christy. And so I focused on Charlene. At first I was like, there was Charlene, there was Tara, and then there was this girl named Adrian May. And I liked all of them. Like, I was attracted to all of them, but I decided to pursue the Charlene thing. None of them would have let anything, but anyway. So anyway, I tried pursuing it. I gave her the bear. She was very nice about it, and then she wrote me a note, like, it was after the holidays, and wrote me a note that I was very nice, and, but she considered me more a friend, and that, because she was the president and I was the vice president, so she wanted to make sure we got a nice professional, which I totally understand. So anyway, you'd think I would just be like, yep, I'm done with that now. But then, like, no, I was like, well, I haven't asked her out in person yet, so maybe if I ask her out in person, the results will be different. Boy, was I stupid. So anyway, we had this thing called state conference that you'd go to. And sometimes you perform a play, sometimes you do things. Or you do little scenes or something like that. It was a great time. Like I said, we had done it the previous year. And we'd get a room or something like that. We'd share a room. And all that stuff. Now, here's an interesting thing at this state conference. Because I had this whole thing of like... I had been watching wrestling and I just remember like... King Mabel had won the King of the Ring and he had this whole... The saga unfolds thing. So I was like... That was my whole like... In my head. I'm like... The saga unfolds! Which was just basically... I'm going to ask her out in person. So I built up the whole weekend to do it. But like... I remember I was on the dance floor... Dancing, having a good time. Because there was a dance, that night. And this girl was dancing around me and was clearly interested in me. But my dumb ass was like, no, I mean, she's cute and all, but I have to ask out Charlene. This is part of my saga. No, Adam, just go with the other girl. Anyway. Oh, well. Live and learn. So that was one strike there of like, well, maybe I should have done that. And then, and I'll talk about a few girls that I thought maybe if I had made a move, maybe there might have been a chance. But anyway, we're focusing on the Charlene thing right now. So anyway, so anyway, I asked her out. I got the maybe, which my friend David Carr was like, yeah, maybe it's not good. But I was like satisfied. I'm like, yeah, she'll let me know after spring break. All right, and then obviously spring break happened, and then it didn't quite work out. And well, my friend Doyle told me that she told me to call her, and so I called her, and then she's like, "Oh, I didn't tell him you to," and so I don't know if Doyle was screwing with me, or if she just was like playing head games. I don't know. I wasn't her. I don't know. So anyway, I was kind of mad about it, but then I was like, okay, I've been kind of coming on a bit strong. So I'm like, it's going to be this summer. I remember with Cedar Point, I said, I'm going to leave her alone. I'm going to back off. Leave her alone this summer. And let's just see, how things go, whatever. So I remember I was in Greece. I was a chorus member, which was a lot of fun. It took me a little bit to get the choreography, but once I did, I was great. I had a lot of fun, like a great cast of people, great friends. I had like this weird blow up with Christy, where it was like we were playing tennis, and then like I don't remember what happened exactly, but like I threw a water bottle at her mom's car, and so she got mad and dropped me off. And then we didn't talk for like a few months because I was mad and she was mad, and I remember that it was funny though because I came home that night and that was the night that Hulk Hogan went NWO. So I related to wrestling again. How about that? So it was an interesting night, but like I did remember Chrissy like came and came to saw the show and all that. But I was like nervous, like I was all embarrassed by throwing because I got mad and threw a stupid water bottle or something. I don't remember why I did it. Who knows? It was just stupid, stupid angry things sometimes. So anyway, the summer went by. I remember though, Charlene's friend Becky Conway had said, "Hey, well, if you're good, you might have a nice surprise or something like that." And I'm like, "Nice surprise? What are you talking about?" Because Charlene came to the show, and I remember this moment. It is like ingrained in my head, and like I saw her standing there in the audience, and she had flowers. And I thought, is this a surprise that Becky was talking about? Like, is Charlene giving me flowers or something like that? Which, granted, even now knowing this, I'm sure if she was giving me those flowers, it was still as a friendly gesture, not a I'm really into you now thing. But, my head wrapped around it. And I don't know, like, for some reason I just froze. I didn't go up to her. Like, she didn't see me, but, like, I didn't just go up to her. And then, like, the rest of the day I racked my brain, like, why did I not just go up and talk to her? Because it's, like, one of those things where, like, in my mindset, I know that it wasn't, like, gonna lead to anything. But, like, there's that kind of unspoken thing of, like, were those flowers for me or were they for someone else? You know, it's like it gets in your mind because my mind is crazy and it's just how it goes. Um, and I know that it's not. It was never going to lead to anything. I understood that. I wish I'd given it up, but I did not. And I remember there's this girl in choir class, and her name was Tiffany. Tiffany Strong, I believe her name was. She was a cute girl, and I remember like I let her paint my nails and stuff on the bus for choir. She just wanted to paint my nails. I went, all right, whatever. Like, you're cute, cool, you know. She sat on my lap a few times in class, so she was really flirtatious. So like, but Doyle screwed that up for me because I think I said something about like, I'm a high school perverse, just to let it be the other way, that she was looking quite perky that day, as in, you know. And Doyle wasn't friggin' told her, so if there was any chance there, I blew it right then and there. We were friendly after that, but like, it was just like, well, maybe if I wouldn't have said that stupid comment, now she thinks I'm just a fucking pig. So, sorry about that, Tiffany, I didn't mean any harm with that. But like, you know, high school, hornball. But anyway, so anyway, yeah. And there was this other girl, Jessica Wade, who I did go to, I went to Sweetheart Dance with her. As friends, and she was African American girl, super nice, really great. I think she liked me, and most people, other people also said that she liked it. And it's one of those things like it really wasn't an issue of like, oh, dating a black girl. That didn't matter to me. That's never mattered to me. It was just one of those things where like it was kind of in the same token of how Christy or those people like I saw her as a friend. And I'm not saying that it couldn't have led to something. But I think it was one of those things where, like, my mind was still, at that time, wrapped around Charlene. So, like, I didn't, you know... It was, like I said, the girl at the state conference, you know, I just told her, like, oh, she wants to dance around me. This is a dance around me. She's clearly not into my ass at all. Let me just ignore this obvious signal. You know, this other girl's painting my nails and sitting in my lap. Maybe she's just being flirtatious. Maybe she is, and that's totally fine. And it's just innocent flirting, but who knows? Blew that one. So it's like, you know, I always made those stupid mistakes. But anyway, like, we had a great time at Sweetheart Dance. And I guess she wanted me to take her to prom, too, but I went with my friend Tara. And at least a brief interlude between Charlene's senior year stuff. But, like, it was like, I did kind of have a crush on Tara. But it was always like a quick crush, and then it would pass. And not like in a like, oh God, she's disgusting or something she did disgust me. It was just kind of like, it was a fleeting thing, you know, She's a child, you know. Took her to prom, we had a good time. I remember it was funny because like I took a picture and you know she's pretty tall too. And I was trying to put my arm like around her waist, but it was like, you know, close to her. Her dad's taking a picture, her waist. I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. But the most awkward thing was on the way we went to Great America. Afterwards, like after prom and all that, I just remember we're in the car with her dad, and he's just like, "Oh, so let me guess, I'm the cool parent, but my wife's the bitch." And it's just like, oh my God, how do you respond to that? Like it's like I know I have a problem with her mom, but she was always very like, you know, she seemed very agitated at times, but she's a lovely person. I have no problem with her, but like it was just kind of like, what do you say to that? Because we were with her mom on the way back, and then her sister Rebecca. It's so funny because Rebecca's all grown now, has a kid, is a nurse, you know, looks like Tara but with darker hair, you know. But like at that time, I will always just have the image of her being this little kid, being excited to take her shoes off, and me just going, yippee, like because she was just straight up getting on all of our nerves because she was a little kid and she's being silly and all that stuff. But like it's like yippee, but yeah. So anyway, there was a brief interlude there where I liked Tara and all that, and I remember my friend Greg's like, "Who are you stalking now?" I'm like, "Oh Lord," like I make it very clear in terms of stalking. Yes, to a point, but not like I'm outside with binoculars or running by your house. Like I never did that. First of all, I didn't have a car. Second of all, or a license at the time, so. Wouldn't have been able to do that anyway, but I would never. I'm not that creepy. My thing was just I didn't know how to just give up, you know. Like, oh, eventually they'll get like me, but like, I just wasn't being myself. I wasn't being confident in myself. Had I just been friendly, who knows? Maybe things could develop, but you never know, or maybe they don't. Whatever. So anyway, yeah, that was the summer, and then as I said, the thing happened there. The fall came around. Obviously, nothing really came of the flower thing, so I was like, okay, that must have just, that must have been for somebody else. I never brought it up either. Like, it was never like one of those things like, were you there? I never brought it up, and I always wondered, like, maybe I should have, just to bring it up, just to say, well, did I see you with flowers? Who are those for, That may have been, maybe, if they weren't for me, it probably would have been like, oh, well, whatever. But anyway, I still kind of was into her. Like, I was trying to get over her, but, like, I was still into her for some reason. And it was weird, because she was an attractive girl, but, like, I've usually been more attracted to women who are, to quote a nicer word, slightly more boozy than me. And Charlene wasn't really very boozy than me. She was very skinny, had dark hair. And like I said, very cute girl. But, like, I didn't understand my mindset of why I was so, like, I guess obsessed or infatuated with this one girl when I had, like, the one girl, Jessica Wade, was probably into me. The other girl, the dance was probably into me. And I'm just ignoring all these obvious, like, hey, this person might be fun to take out or something. But no, I have dedicated this much time to this and failed so many times that I will convince her. Also, I remember me and Greg, just to flash back for a minute, we had a falling out somewhat because we went to his house. I was upset about losing the vice presidency, and he got the vice presidency, and he had quit the presidency before or something. So it was like a weird, high school stupid drama shit. And so Christy and a bunch of us, like, went to his house and, like, pranked his house, and we poured grass in their yard, and we ended up, like, it was just like a whole big thing. We did eventually, Mr. Kaus stepped in and kind of, talked to Greg, and said, oh, he's just going along with the group, and we did talk it out, and we were fine. We'd have a later falling out later, but we'll get to that later. But anyway, yeah, so the fall year came in, and Kaus was, like I said, and the thing had gotten kidney stones, had a lot of health issues that year, so there wasn't a lot of plays going on that year that were supposed to happen. I do remember we went down to Fort Wayne, and I think I mentioned this with the whole beat thing, but I just remember, what do you mean, what? And it was there that I kind of developed a slight crush on this girl named Jackie Day, who had been a good friend, for a couple of years, and was very nice. But it was one of those things where, like, I don't know, it was just because, on one hand, it's like, hey, cool, I'm moving on from Charlene. But then it was like, no, Adam, you're still hooked on that, for some reason. But it was like a short-lived thing. I just remember my friend, Nathan Murray, like finding out, oh, what did Jackie think about it? It's just like, and like Chris is like, what do you think? He's like, Gump ain't got no girl. It's like, yeah, pretty much. But she was super, to Jackie Day's credit, she was super nice about it. She came and talked to me on the bus, and said, was the nicest. Honestly, the nicest rejection you can get is just like, she thought very highly of me as a person and things like that. And it was, so yeah. Once again, friends with her on Facebook still. Don't talk to her that much, but like we're friends, so it's all good. And I wish her nothing but the best. So anyway, yeah. So into the drama we got through. Like I said, I'm almost through senior year here, guys. So we'll wrap up high school and then we'll get into all my college nonsense after that. So as I said, we're getting into senior year here. Towards the end of the year, we had our Christmas party. We always had gift exchanges at the Christmas party. The first time I gift exchanged for drama class, I ended up with no gift because the person who was supposed to give me a gift didn't show up to school that day. So I was sitting there like, I got nothing. So anyway, apparently Charlene and Jackie and Leah and Becky all exchanged their Christmas gifts at the thing, which, okay, whatever. Who cares? Not a big deal. Well, I came back to school on Monday, and Kaus is like, well, your little girlfriend and her friends are in big trouble and all that. I'm just like, what? So we find out that Kathleen, who was also on the board, had been really upset that she didn't get a gift from them or something like that. But it's like, well, they didn't give Greg a gift either, and he's on the board. It's like they were all like a group of friends. So it's like I saw their point of view on this thing. Like it really wasn't. It shouldn't have been the big deal that it was. But like it turned into this whole like fucking big fucking deal where like she cried and then he wanted to kick him out of. He like kicked him off the board. And so Greg had to be the president, and then Chris Canavan got to be the vice president. And, like, it was a whole big thing. But then, like, me, of course, trying to be Mr. Knight in Shining Armor, it was just like, oh, well, I'm standing by these girls. That'll show Charlene if I support her, then she'll totally go out with me then. Yes! Totally not an ulterior motive on my part, and totally convincing in all way. So I remember that was another time when I wrote a stupid, ill-advised letter to Greg. I said, if you kick them out, our friendship's over. And to be fair, they acted immature. They showed up at a meeting and interrupted the meeting, and it was a big, looking back on it, neither party was right. Callis wasn't right to kick them out over a freaking stupid gift. I mean, Kathleen was just emotional, and that's okay. I have no problem with Kathleen, but it was just like, I don't understand what the hell is going on here. But I understand if it's like, oh, I didn't get a gift because of a friend. I mean, I've been left out before too. I understand that, but I don't know. I don't think it was worth them getting kicked off the board for. But at the same time, they reacted the wrong way too. Jackie and Leah handled it better than Charlene and Becky did. But at that time, I sent Greg this letter, and then we didn't talk for a while. We'd see each other here and there in mixed company, but even Nathan, Chrissy's boyfriend, called up and says, "So there's crazy things going on. What the hell is wrong with you?" And he was right. What the hell was wrong with me? Because amazingly, guys, that didn't lead to Charlene dating me. Amazingly, it did not. We talked about hanging out one time. I think there was one time she called me at Christie's or something like that, and it was like, oh, she's going, and then oh, I can't get together, and so it's it was usually just more okay, she's just brushing this off. And then Becky came and says that you really have to stop, getting your gifts and doing all this, it's just, she's thinking of getting a restraining order, and that to me was kind of the wake-up call. I'm just okay, I've gone too far here, and meanwhile, during this time, there's a girl, I went to this church, and I've never really been big in a church, but my friend Zach was into it, and I'm like, okay, I'll go, check it out. There's this girl, Lisa, and she was pretty cute, and she was totally instantly attracted to me. So obviously the smart thing would have been to have asked her out, and I think she called me one time, and I was just so shy I didn't know what to talk about, they were watching the Super Bowl or something. And so hey, I was and then I went another time, and I was okay, maybe this can go somewhere. And I was gonna do something, and then Zach's oh, she's going through some stuff, so probably not the best time. And then nothing ever really happened because I was all I'm a senior, I gotta focus on graduating now, because all that time I spent on Charlene was clearly focusing on graduating. But then I did an ill-advised thing. I thought, well, maybe me and Charlene could just go as friends to prom. Anyway, so yeah, it was just a bad idea. I had Jessica Wade had not moved away, because she had moved away after my junior year, and it was damn, because if she had been around, I wouldn't have wasted my time asking Charlene to prom, because even if we had gone as friends as we did, it was still awkward, and there were still some unresolved feelings there for myself. It was a bad idea. I would have taken Jessica Wade, or would have taken this Lisa girl. Any one of those would have been a better choice. But yeah, so I made the mistake of saying, oh, when we go as friends, let me think about it. And then I went and bought the ticket, because I'm well, I got to buy the tickets. So I bought the tickets. And then she's I'll go as your escort. And so she escorted me, took pictures of me, and then disappeared most of the night. I think I danced with her once that entire night. And it was just okay. But it was I remember I went to Great America with Tara and her family again, and I was just kind of miserable the whole day. I'm just because it was kind of the end, I was graduating, and I did actually go to her graduation party, so I mean, she did invite me to that. So it was just okay, I guess we're kind of friends. But yeah, and it was just okay. And I remember I went to Greg's graduation party, and he was actually really upset that I came. But it was I was with a group of Christy. Was I supposed to just go home, And then I said something about Jackie Day's thing, her party, and he's oh, he just invited himself to another party, and it's and then, I emailed Jackie just to make sure it was okay that I came, and she says, yes, you were invited, absolutely. So, yeah, but it was just so there was a tension there with me and Greg for a bit, which would resolve itself shortly after, but yeah, so it was. And Charlene didn't come to my graduation party. It ended up just being a couple people that came. I sent invites to a lot of people. A lot of people had to work and stuff like that. But then she didn't come to my graduation party. And I'm okay, this is. And I knew that I had to let that go. And it's one of those things where most of with Christy I had closure. With Marcia I had closure. with Jackie, I had the closure there. You know, it was a quick thing, no big deal. But like with Charlene, it was one of those weird things where I had closure, but like everybody else that I had closure with, and even people further in college that I'll talk about, I always felt like me and Charlene were never able to just like be friends. And that was my fault. Totally my fault. I made it awkward. I kept pursuing the romance thing, you know, and even Chris Kanavich one time says, if you just tried to just be her friend, you know, instead of trying to pursue this relationship that wasn't going to happen, you know, maybe it wouldn't have led to anything, but whatever. Like, she would have gotten to know you more. You would have maybe built confidence. You know, whatever the case. I didn't have a lot of confidence in high school. That's to say that much. But yeah, I did a lot of stupid things in high school trying to impress women. And yeah, so that's why, like, I remember, like, when I got to college, like, I didn't ask anybody out. I didn't ask anybody out. I was like, I'm not going to, I was like, okay, I screwed up with the whole Charlene thing. I wasted so much time. And I blew it with potential other people that may have actually been interested in me. And so I'm like, I got to just like lay low, focus on, you know, college and all that stuff. Other than hitting on a girl when I was drunk, Claire Kemble, great. But like, I never pursued anything like that. It was just like drunk at a party and like being a dumbass. And like, I remember I said something like, "Oh, you should come to the play and see me make an ass of myself," or see, yeah, or something like that. She's like, "Haven't I already seen that?" Touche, Claire, you're absolutely right there. But I remember I saw her and I felt really embarrassed about that night. So like I saw her and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to talk to her." I was, you know, because I was embarrassed. And I saw her after that at a party, and it was fine. It wasn't a big deal. You know, I was just being stupid. Like, oh, I've got liquid courage. So anyway, guys, it's 50 minutes now, so I'm going to shut the hell up because I do have to get some cleaning done. Do something for my wife when she gets home so that she's had a very stressful week with the camps, being in this park with no, like, shade at all. She came home sunburned the other day, so even after putting on lots of sunscreen, sometimes sunscreen doesn't work. So anyway, guys, that was kind of my high school reflection journey of love or lack thereof. Just a couple of stories in there. There's tons of stories I could tell about Christy and my adventures in friendship. Maybe I'll talk about that another time, another video. But so that's kind of where I'm at. So as I got into college, like I said, the freshman year I didn't ask anybody out. Learned my lesson on that. So I'll talk more about college and how that flowed into romance there, and mistakes I would make there too. Lessons learned. So yeah, I do feel like I grew from the experience though. Like there was, even when I would pursue girls after that, I did less of the like, I'm going to stay after them for 6 months now, even though they've completely rejected me. I'm going to continue to get, so I say at least I learned that. So that's good. So yeah, this has been High School Romance Reflections, connecting to the high school drama connections that I mentioned. So we can kind of tie those two videos together. And then I will do the same with the college when I get to continue with 2000 and all that. But we'll go through the things there. So anyway, I'm going to shut up now. That's enough video time for today for Adam. I already put like one update on the other channel, one update on this channel, and now this. So I'm going to shut up, have less caffeine, and get some work done. So have a good one, guys.